The world watched in astonishment. Across continents and time zones, people paused their daily routines to witness history unfold. The news spread like wildfire, igniting conversations in homes, cafes, and public squares. Pope Francis, in an unprecedented move, announced his resignation. It was a decision that took everyone by surprise, from the highest echelons of the Vatican to the faithful in the pews. "I can no longer lead," he declared, his voice heavy with emotion. The weight of his words was palpable, resonating deeply with those who heard them. A hush fell over St. Peter's Square. The usually bustling heart of the Catholic world was enveloped in a profound silence, as if the very air was holding its breath. The faithful, gathered in their thousands, were left speechless. Faces reflected a mix of shock, sorrow, and uncertainty about the future. A papacy doesn't just end, it leaves an indelible mark on history. Each pope's tenure is a chapter in the long, intricate story of the Church, influencing its direction and legacy. Francis's papacy, though shorter than many, was nothing short of revolutionary. His initiatives touched countless lives, from advocating for the poor to addressing climate change. His decision sent shockwaves through the Catholic world. Communities from every corner of the globe reacted, their voices echoing the magnitude of this momentous announcement. It was a moment of profound change, a seismic shift in the very foundation of the Church. The resignation of a pope is a rare event, one that reshapes the ecclesiastical landscape. But amid the surprise and sadness, a sense of hope began to emerge. The faithful found solace in the belief that this change, though unexpected, could lead to new beginnings. Francis, the people's pope, had ushered in an era of humility, inclusivity, and reform. His approach to leadership was marked by a genuine connection with people from all walks of life. His legacy would undoubtedly shape the Church for generations to come. The impact of his papacy, with its emphasis on compassion and social justice, would be felt long after his resignation. Francis's papacy was defined by his humility. He shunned the opulent trappings of his office. Choosing to live simply, he embraced the poor and marginalized. He washed the feet of prisoners. He embraced those with disabilities. He reminded the world that the Church was not a fortress but a field hospital for the wounded. He spoke out against social injustice and environmental destruction. His message resonated with people of all faiths and none. He was a voice for the voiceless, a champion of the forgotten. In a world often driven by greed and power, Francis's humility was a beacon of hope. Francis challenged the Church to move beyond its walls. He called for a more inclusive Church, one that welcomed all, regardless of their background or beliefs. He emphasized dialogue and understanding, urging Catholics to engage with the modern world. He reached out to the LGBTQ+ community, urging compassion and understanding. He challenged traditional views on divorce and remarriage, urging mercy and accompaniment. His message was clear: the Church must be a home for all, a place of welcome and love. Francis's papacy was not without its critics. His reforms faced resistance from within the Church. Yet he remained steadfast in his commitment to renewal. He tackled corruption in the Vatican. He decentralized power, giving a greater voice to local churches. He appointed cardinals from the developing world, recognizing the global nature of the Church. He called for a more synodal Church, one where all members have a voice in its governance. His reforms were not about revolution, but about revitalization, about ensuring the Church remained relevant and vibrant in the 21st century. The weight of the world. Why Francis stepped down. The weight of the papacy is immense. It is a role that demands not only spiritual leadership, but also the ability to navigate complex political landscapes, address global issues, and provide guidance to millions of followers. The Pope is seen as a moral compass, a beacon of hope, and a symbol of unity for the Catholic Church. This immense responsibility can be overwhelming, even for the most resilient individuals. It is a burden borne by few. The physical and emotional toll it takes on a person is unimaginable. The constant scrutiny, the unending demands, and the weight of expectations can be exhausting. For Pope Francis, this burden became increasingly heavy as he aged. Francis, in his announcement, acknowledged this weight. He spoke candidly about the challenges he faced and the toll it had taken on his health. His words were filled with a sense of humility and honesty, traits that have always defined his papacy. He spoke of his advancing age, of the need for fresh energy to lead the church. He recognized that the church needed someone who could meet the demands of the role with vigor and vitality, someone who could continue the work he had started and address the ongoing challenges with renewed strength. His decision, though unexpected, was not entirely surprising. Those close to him had seen the signs of his struggle. They had witnessed his moments of fatigue and the increasing difficulty he had in fulfilling his duties. The announcement was met with a mix of shock and understanding. The challenges facing the church are numerous: secularization, internal divisions, and the ongoing clerical sexual abuse crisis. These issues require strong leadership and unwavering dedication. The church is at a crossroads, and the need for effective leadership has never been more critical. The ongoing clerical sexual abuse crisis has been a particularly heavy burden. It has shaken the faith of many and brought immense scrutiny to the church. Addressing this crisis requires not only moral courage, but also a deep commitment to justice and healing. These challenges undoubtedly took their toll. The weight of these issues, combined with his advancing age, made it increasingly difficult for Pope Francis to continue in his role. His decision to step down was a recognition of his limitations and a desire to ensure that the church could continue to move forward. His decision to step down was an act of courage, a recognition that he could no longer serve the church to the best of his abilities. It was a selfless act, putting the needs of the church and its followers above his own. As he steps down, Pope Francis leaves behind a legacy of humility, compassion, and a deep commitment to justice. His decision marks the end of an era, but it also opens the door for new leadership and a renewed sense of hope for the future of the church. From Manila to Rome, the rise of Cardinal Tagle. All eyes then turned to Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. The Filipino cardinal, known for his warmth, intellect, and deep spirituality, had long been seen as a rising star within the church. His journey from the slums of Manila to the Vatican was one of unwavering faith and service. He served as Archbishop of Manila, where he was known for his tireless work with the poor and marginalized. His appointment as prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples further solidified his position as a key figure in Francis's papacy. A shared vision, Tagle, the natural successor. Tagle's appointment as Pope was met with a mix of surprise and excitement. Many saw in him a beacon of hope, a leader who could bridge the old and the new, the traditional and the modern. His charisma and humility resonated deeply with people from all walks of life, making him a beloved figure even before his papacy began. He was the first Asian pope in modern history, a symbol of the Church's growing presence in the global South. This was a significant milestone, reflecting the shifting demographics of the Catholic Church. The faithful in Asia and other parts of the global South felt a renewed sense of representation and inclusion. Tagle's deep understanding of these regions' unique challenges and opportunities made him an ideal leader for a globalized church. More importantly, he was seen as a natural successor to Francis, a man who shared his vision of a more humble, inclusive, and outward-looking church. Both leaders emphasized the importance of mercy, compassion, and reaching out to the peripheries. Tagle's pastoral approach, much like Francis's, was rooted in a deep empathy for the marginalized and a commitment to social justice. He was a strong advocate for interfaith dialogue, environmental protection, and social justice. Tagle believed that the Church should be a leading voice in addressing global issues such as climate change, poverty, and inequality. His efforts to foster understanding and cooperation among different faiths were particularly noteworthy, as he sought to build bridges in a world often divided by religious and cultural differences. He believed in a church that walked with the poor, that listened to the marginalized, that embraced the stranger. His actions spoke louder than words, as he consistently demonstrated a willingness to engage with those on the fringes of society. Whether it was visiting slums, advocating for refugees, or supporting grassroots movements, Tagle's commitment to social justice was unwavering. His election signaled a continuation of Francis's legacy, a commitment to building on the reforms he had begun. Tagle's leadership promised not just continuity, but also a deepening of the Church's mission to be a beacon of hope and a force for good in the world. His vision for the future was one of inclusivity, compassion, and active engagement with the pressing issues of our time, ensuring that the Church remained relevant and responsive to the needs of all its members. Global challenges, Universal Church Tagle's burden. The challenges facing Pope Tagle are immense. The Church remains deeply divided. The sexual abuse crisis continues to cast a long shadow. Secularization is on the rise in many parts of the world. Yet Tagle brings to the papacy a unique set of skills and experiences. He is a gifted communicator, able to connect with people from all walks of life. He is a bridge builder, known for his ability to foster dialogue and understanding. He is a man of deep faith, committed to the gospel message of love, mercy, and compassion, a new dawn hope and the future of Catholicism. Pope Francis's resignation marked the end of an era, but it also heralded a new chapter for the Catholic Church. In Pope Tagle, the Church has a leader who embodies the spirit of Francis, a leader committed to continuing the work of reform and renewal. The road ahead will not be easy. But with Tagle at the helm, there is a sense of hope, a belief that the Church can emerge from this period of transition stronger and more vibrant than ever before. The future of Catholicism, though uncertain, is full of possibilities. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more updates and intriguing content.